I set it up to where it's just a normal guitar, so. I rock a little bit of foam in here. This is sort of the heart of both guitar and bass tone, and I set up around it because I love it so much. Hi, I'm Brandon. I play bass and guitar and keys for Little Image, and this is my rig. I guess we'll start here. I play mostly bass, so I'll start with this one. I play this for most of the set. So, little PJ, got Aguilar pickups in it. Sounds really nice and fat. I rock a little bit of foam in here. So I installed this kind of high mass bridge and have the foam just kind of allows me to dig in a lot without losing it too much, and it still stays nice and tight. But I also do a lot of palm muting even over the foam. So I would say most of the time I'm palm muting. So that just helps a little bit. I kind of rock this at about 25% of the jazz pickup. So it's mostly the P sound and then just barely cut a little bit on here. And that's the tone's pretty much all the way up for the most part. So I'm going standard tuning. Strings are 45 to 105, and I think these are fat beams on this one. And then we have this guy. We got Fender noiseless pickups. Pretty much standard. I rock pretty much everything up all the way. Maybe I sometimes will dip this down just a little bit. Yeah, this isn't really a backup. This is sort of like the set sort of takes a different turn. And this one is just a little bit more raw. So I got no foam in it. We're just wide open. And strings, the same strings on there, the 45 to 105 fat beams. And we're just getting a lot of really nice gritty sounds out of the jazz bass, whereas the P feels a little bit more like not scooped. The P feels a little more, it's got a little more body. This has more scoop, and so this cuts through in a bit of a different way with a little more overdrive. Yeah, so start the set on this just because a lot of the stuff I'm doing on there is a little tighter. So like we have a new song that we've been doing called Strange Friends. It's just a little more tighter, a little more pocketed. And then a lot of the last part of the set is just a lot of open. I dig in a lot, and you kind of want it to sound unhinged. So that's just how it works out this time. I'm not really like going to this, then that, and then back. It's really just kind of, the set just works perfectly. Yeah, guitar. This one's a little interesting. So it's got an Evertune bridge on this. And it's kind of like the new cool thing. So this was completely routed out, so you don't usually see a backplate on a Telly. Long story short, it has 6 individual springs that keep each string offset on the tension. So you can set these up a couple different ways. I set it up to where it's just a normal guitar, so it bends, but you can kind of go crazy if you want to. The other thing is that this is great for being on the road. Conditions are always pretty wild. You go from really cold to really hot and everything. So this just allows you to stay in tune. You did hear it drop a little bit, so you can set it up to where this is just the way it rocks, and it will not, no matter how much you bend out, it will not change pitch from tension, just whenever you're going up. I don't have it set up that way, but it's pretty sick. So yeah, I've got a couple different things happening here. So this is a Lawler Eldorado humbucker, and this is a Lawler Special T. And then I have the coil split. So a lot of times, if I need to have a little more clarity and a little less output, pull that, and then I roll the tone down a little bit if I'm just using it in split coil mode. But I found, I mean, it's a really great humbucker. I'm not doing anything in this set with just the humbucker. But what's really special, and I feel like where this guitar really shines, is humbucker plus specialty. So you could pull that and go dual single coils, it'd sound more telly. But this just gives like, it cuts through really well, but also has like a lot of punch and kind of, I feel like there's a lot of power. I think this is a Fender Player 2, but I kind of like all my guitars to feel a little just really old if possible, so I'll always do like, this one I think came with rolled frets, but I rolled them way more. I sprayed nitro over it and tried to make it feel like it's been around for a really long time, even though it hasn't. But yeah, I love this thing. It's absolutely been solid out here. So yeah, this is where pretty much everything is coming from. And I play bass and guitar, so it's set up kind of in a weird way. So basically what we have is HX is sort of the routing brain of everything. So you can see I've got outputs up here, I've got outputs on the side, I've got an input from the bass synth over there. So everything is just being routed through this essentially. And I have basically made it to where I'm using this more as a brain for routing and some effects. So I'm not really doing much amp sim in this. So I'll try to break it down. I go in to the fuzz. That's what we hit first. That way that doesn't get weird. Sometimes if you put a drive before a fuzz, it changes the way the fuzz works because your impedance changes. So I have that first. This, a buddy of mine, Adam, made this. So there's two really cool fuzz circuits on this. This one's really gated, and this one is just super aggressive. You can see I have the foot stomp cover thing on this one. I mostly use the left side, which is just a bit more of an aggressive fuzz thing. So we go from here, the fuzz, into this Behringer Ultra Chorus. You can get these for like 20 bucks on Reverb. This is my favorite chorus. I've tried a few of them. I really like subtle choruses. You can even go stereo out if you choose, but I'm not, just keep it at mono. So I go from here into this Bassman Comp. Really nice, kind of newish pedal from Fender. It's really sticky, and if I have anything that I want to keep it really tight but give it a little bit of a boost, I have this set up to basically be a boost that doesn't get away from you. And then this is another kind of rehoused pedal made by another friend of mine. This is like a modded tube screamer and then a rat on this side. I really just use the rat. Tube screamers, it's always been a little difficult to figure out how to use a tube screamer in my rig, especially playing bass. But it's there if I ever need it. And then going from there to a Tumnus, which is like a Klon thing. I love this. This has been on my board since the early days. It's just a great circuit. It does cut a little bit of bass, so I only will really use the Tumnus for guitar. And then, interestingly enough, we go from like the drives and the fuzzes into a preamp. So we're already a little backwards, but this is a really great pedal by Vertex. It has like the Dumble circuit, and then it's got a little bit of, it's hard to describe. It kind of acts as compression, and you can see I have like the cleans all the way up almost, and it just does something really special where it brings out some of the sweetness without bringing up the volume. So for drive stacking, that's really awesome because you can sort of bring up just enough of a certain frequency with compression, and it just makes it sound a little more alive, which I'm always down for. And then this is sort of the bread and butter. I always have the Benson preamp on. It's great for bass and guitar. Bass is usually just at around 50%. I was just messing with all these pedals because I was having a little bit of a grounding problem. But yeah, but basically we're just 50% on bass and treble and have a little bit of drive going, but this is sort of the heart of both guitar and bass tone, and I set up around it because I love it so much. And it's essentially a Benson Chimera circuit that I'm pretty sure they're using like FETs instead of tubes to achieve a similar thing. So, and then we go into a Supermoon, which is, this is a modded Supermoon. It's like a special edition, and it's even crazier than the original Mr. Black Supermoon. Just like way more sway. And I have the sway turned down all the way because it's already too much at 0, but it's really cool. And then I have that going into a Dynacomp. So it's basically Dynacomp always stays on as well. These two, I set up completely around that. And it gives it a nice alive sort of tube feels just in the pedals before we even get into like an amp sim. I feel like there's a lot of control just in the rolling the volume up and down, which I'm always kind of like nursing the volume throughout just to use that as the main expression point. So then we go into HX, and then for bass, it ends here. So I have like a bass DI preset on here. And within HX, it's split off. And so I have another drive going, and then I blend the drive back into the bass DI. So that's the bass thing. But for guitar, we come right back out of the HX and we go into the Oceans 11. And I basically have this set up to be like a roomy cab sim kind of thing. So I have the time all the way down, effects levels like, 40%, and then tones basically ducked on the hall setting. And it just makes, in your ears, it just feels like you're playing a mic'd amp in the room. And then from there, go into the Flint. This is the V2. I love this reverb. It's my favorite reverb that I've found. The tremolo is also really sick. And then we go from here into the Tonex. And the Tonex is the amp sim. And I simulated a 59 Bassman that I have at home. And it's crazy how good it sounds like compared to the actual amp. I love it. I think that these are the future in many ways. It's crazy how much it's doing in such a small package. Used to have to do the Kemper, the racked unit with the thing, and this already sounds better than any of the other amp sims that I've tried. But it's a clean channel. I bet all my stuff is really the tone, and then I just set it up to have a clean amp. But this does a really good job of like squishing and actually feeling tubey. And so that's it. And then that's what runs to the house. So everything is running to the house from the board. I have a couple of different outs going into this like I/O thing. And these outs go to the amps that I have back here. And this is really just for us. This is for the front row. This is to take your ear out and it sounds awesome. This is a Bassman 800. It's a hybrid amp. So there are tubes just in the pre section, but not the power section. So you pick this up and it's like really nice. And then same here. This is a Tone Master Deluxe Reverb. So you pick this up. Also really nice. And again, these are really just for us and for the people that found their way to the front row. And they sound really great. It really is just like, I would use this as the sound, other than we do a lot of fly shows and you just never know what you're gonna get sometimes. It's really up to just whoever sorts you on backline. And we've had some various different things that have shown up and we're like, all right, that's gonna be interesting tonight. And so this sort of helps alleviate that problem. But I can just say it just sounds awesome in the room. We love these amps. lastly, keys. I'll make this pretty simple. We do everything VSTs, VST plugins, and so we use a lot of Arturia synths, and I think there's like one song we use Ableton synth on, but it's really all just in the box, and all that runs through one network cable, which makes my life very easy. You don't have to do the DI box quad thing and figure all that out. This is just really easy, and it sounds awesome. And so we run it on the same computer that we run tracks on, and it changes by itself with every song. So that took a lot off my plate, burden-wise. I'm not having to think about it. I just walk up and play it, and it's already on the right patch. And then that's it for keys, but then bass synth is like a lot of time. There's a few songs where I don't have the low end covered on bass, but I have it covered here. And naturally, it runs through the bass rig. So we go Pro 1, which is a modded thing. So this has different filters in it. So it's a Behringer Pro 1, but had it modded, so it's got different filters. I wish I remembered what the filters are in it. I don't. It was a really long time ago. But these are running into kind of a multi-effects unit down here. Just a cheap, affordable Amazon thing, which we love. It's got an octave pre. I never use the pre. The octave I do use. It's got a really cool fuzz and a compressor. And really the fuzz and the octave are the quick fun tools to mess with. But this just sounds really cool with this filter going into a fuzz, and it breaks up in a cool way. And then I can send that into here with more stuff going on HX, which a couple songs I do have it going into other things. Then that goes into the bass amp, so that you never lose stage volume, which is great. Well, that's it for me. That's pretty much the rig. There's a lot of things going a lot of ways. We have ins and outs, mixing each other, but we set it up every night. It always sounds great. So.